Brawlhalla was very good at making you feel cool for doing things. I was
Mm-hmm.
very enamored by the very unusual weapons. I picked up Scarlet pretty quickly because I've always been a fan of steampunk stuff.
Okay.
Scarlet was a cool character. I liked her steam hammer and her steam lance. It was also kind of crazy to me how other weapons in the game worked. With a bow, you literally shoot your opponent with this giant bow. Um, and everything. Blasters are like are kind of like short range ish, but still longer range than other weapons. It was just and the game was very. I saw the game was very creative with how they used the weapons, how
Mm-hmm.
the weapons attacked and things like that, and it was just fun to, mess around in. Um, so I would just like play for several hours, several nights in a row, essentially. And then, as I was sort of exploring the game, I saw there was a Meet the Legends section, and that is where I discovered the lore. And I'm like, okay, cool. There's a little backstory for each character. That's kind of fun. And like I've being a librarian by profession, I always I appreciate you know backstories, narrative. I guess also my Dungeons and Dragons background. I like backstories and narrative and world building. But I was very impressed by the level of world building that I did not expect to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was mainly because like I felt like these didn't feel like just one-off stories. I mean, they kind of were. They were written for you could like finish in the you could stop reading in the middle of lore and still get an idea of what the character is. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's written like there's a very deliberate. I've learned like especially at BCX last year the deliberate way in which the devs write the lore. And it's very effective for what they want to do. But I was very struck by I kept seeing Feywild brought up a couple times. Order of the Exalted Lion,
Mm.
Lance Star Champion, mentions of other legends and mention of other legends and other legends lore. Artemis has a mysterious rivalry with Orion. All these kinds of things, and that's when I really started to get hooked. And I just kind of thought to myself, well, I had done a lore wiki before with another game series called Apser Incorporated,
Okay.
which is a series of it's a series of like kind of meta horror platformer games on mostly on mobile that have like a continuity to it, kind of following the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to Endgame kind of thing, where each game is a little bit of this timeline.
Mm.
So I wrote a lore wiki for that, which I haven't updated in a while. That I really need to do that. But so I look at this Brawlhalla lore and I'm like, surely there's got to be like a place that some people like this. Some people must have like. There's got to be a place that has looked at all the connections between the legends, right? Like there's got to be a place for that. I looked up the Brawlhalla wiki, right, the fan made wiki, and there wasn't anything there. I didn't see the source at all, and I'm like, you know what? I'll make it. I can do it. I can look at all the lore and figure out what all the connections are. And I was overly ambitious. I was trying to go into like historical and mythological context as well, which I'm not equipped to do. I'm not a historian. Like it was literally it's just like it's Wikipedia research essentially, which is I mean it has its place, but it can only take you so far. Anyway, so I created my lore wiki, which I also have not updated in a while because of lots of other things I've been involved in. But that's where I started. Essentially, I discovered the game on Steam. It's a free game. I was enamored with the game. It was just fun to play for a casual gamer like me. And then I saw that the lore felt special for a fighting game, and I didn't see anyone else talking about it, and so I decided I wanted to.